Where's Kevin? He's never late for the podcast. Oh my God, the lights are out. And do I hear techno music? Here, let me hit the emergency switch.
Oh, wie geht es Ihnen, RJ? Guten Tag, ja?
Party Mench, what are you doing here again?
Well, I thought I'd drop by. I mean, you did invite me to be on your podcast to explain the 5 tenets of hedonism, yeah?
No, I did not.
Oh, yes, we were partying very hard. I'm sure you remember, or maybe you do not. But yes, you were like, Party Mench, you are a sexy German. You should come and talk about these 5 tenets.
Party Mench, did you mess with the lights?
Oh, yes, it's for the party. Actually, I need to get my glow sticks, yeah?
Don't reach there.
Oh, yeah. The glow sticks.
Party Mench, we have important work to do.
Very important, you see. You must...
we expand people's minds.
I agree, we must expand the mind.
What are you drinking?
1, 2. Oh, drinking? I'm not drinking nothing. I'm dosing.
We have to talk about the 90s.
Oh, I love the 90s. I got so high and smashed so much ass. Oh, good times, yeah.
What are you doing here?
I'm here to talk about the 5 tenets of hedonism, yeah? Yeah. Number 5. Never sober up. Always stay intoxicated. Smoke, snort, drink, but never sober up. Number 4. Number 4 is very important. No condoms. If you are using condoms, that means you are afraid of the consequences. And we can't have that now, can we?
Party Mench?
What?
We have to get to the podcast.
Oh, yes, we're working on the podcast, yeah? Number 3. Impulse control. You must have none of it. If you are controlling your impulses, you are doing it wrong.
I don't think that's right.
No, that is correct. Und Nummer 2. Nummer 2 is also important. No shame. You cannot feel shame from anything you do.
Party Mench, there's no smoking in the studio.
Was ist ein kleines Schmuckchen. It is nix. It's nothing.
That is strictly against the rules.
Yes, if you feel shame about what you do, you might be inclined to think you should stop, and that is not how that works. This is not how the hedonist lifestyle is. But the number 1 rule, you know this one, right?
No.
The number 1 rule is always ask for more. You are never done with pleasure. Pleasure is never done with you.
Party Mench, we can't keep doing this.
Why not? Let's party a little bit more.
No.
Come on. Oh, it's so good. Oh, you
No.
want to smoke shit?
No, I don't. It is.
Come on, baby.
All right.
Let's party.
All right, you're done.
Oh, yeah.
How does Party Mench keep finding his way in here? Kevin, there you are. Where were you?
Oh, man, I'm sorry I'm late. I was actually tracking a UFO off the coast of New Smyrna Beach last night. And I don't know what happened. I blacked out and I woke up in dirty-ass Daytona that must have dropped me off there. But I was on to something. I couldn't put my finger in it, but I was close to something.
I know what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, well, we have a podcast to run here, so. Now presenting
The RKULTRA
Expanding Your Minds.
whether you want it or not.
We here at RKULTRA believe the 90s made a deep impression on the society that we have today. So in an effort to better understand ourselves and society as a whole, we're going to take a deep dive and talk about everything 90s.
Ah, yes, the 90s. A much simpler time. Cell phones were scarce, but you could still smoke a cigarette in a Dairy Queen. And it may have taken 24 hours to download one singular porno, but you could afford a house.
At least there's that.
Yep. Social media was just some sick fantasy in a lunatic's mind. But the 90s gave us a lot of amazing culture. RJ, what do we have to thank the 90s for?
Well, I'd have to say hip hop and rap. It really exploded onto the mainstream in the 90s. This is where we got the legends of rap, as you can say. You know, if we could build a Mount Rushmore or multiple Mount Rushmores, really. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Tupac, Biggie, Ice Cube. You know, the list goes on. And we really got to fantasize what it was like to be a hardcore badass on the streets, you know?
Oh, yeah. My favorite rapper is DMX. He came from the 90s too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he's worth less than $1 million because he's been to jail so many times.
Really.
Yeah. He's been arrested over 30 times.
Really. Because like his music is iconic. You hear it everywhere at clubs and everything.
Yeah. But he's like really just about that life. He didn't, I don't know.
Yeah. He was rapping to fuel his thug career. But, you know, it's also important because we really got to hear from the heart and soul of the streets, you know, a voice that wasn't really prevalent, you know, before this time. And not only that, the top music hits of, you know, today are mostly comprised of rap and hip hop. So it really did make a deep impression on society as we know it.
There was a lot of great media that came out of the 1990s too. I mean, movies, TV shows, cartoons. I think the cartoons were my favorite. Batman the Animated Series was my favorite show. Kevin Conroy as Batman, Mark Hamill really nailed their roles. There was explosions every other episode. You know, it was really written to appeal to adults as well as children. And I think that's like important for the 90s decade. I mean, we see a lot of adult cartoons come out of it. And it really, you know, changed as a genre. I mean, The Simpsons was going strong. Beavis and Butthead turned everything on its face.
Yeah. And I believe The Simpsons is still producing episodes. And not only that, I think they also revived Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. So it really just paved the way for how we view cartoons today.
Yeah, and also the anime explosion came during the 90s. I mean, we all grew up watching Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. Before that, we didn't see much of that. Now it's everywhere.
Yeah. And not only that, some of the most unforgettable movies came out in the 90s. I mean, to start, Men in Black, probably the best alien comedy movie ever made. Will Smith is hilarious in that movie.
Man, who hasn't seen that movie less than 20 times? So good.
Seriously.
Yeah. Man, Will Smith was in all of the good alien comedies. Independence Day,
Oh,
had Monopoly on it.
every time I think of Independence Day, I see the White House being blown up by the aliens. But moving on, not only that, Jurassic Park, probably the best dinosaur movie ever made. You know, it featured huge animatronic dinosaurs, literally. Like the T Rex was a work of art. And not only that, the CGI in that movie was cutting edge, literally, because they hired Jim Henson initially to do all the animations and everything with claymation. But after looking at the CGI and, you know, discovering that it was actually a viable option and it looked realistic, they went ahead and went with it. And actually, I think it turned out to be a good choice. And that is the stuff of childhood nightmares, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, the effects in that were legendary. I can't imagine anyone denying Jim Henson, but hey, I mean, it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were a lot of great technological advances in the 90s. I mean, the internet was becoming more prevalent. It was very slow and you couldn't talk on the phone and use it at the same time, but it really paved the way for new things like online gaming to be more common.
Yeah. And not only that, some kick ass video game consoles came out in the 90s, like the PlayStation, which is still one of the most popular consoles today. I remember playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater on it. It had a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah, I spent many an hour beating Metal Gear Solid over and over again. Had a fantastic storyline, spy, espionage, loved it.
Yeah. And not only that, the Nintendo 64, which is actually the first time they used an analog stick on a joypad for a console. So you can thank the Nintendo 64 for that.
Interesting. Yeah, a lot of GoldenEye back in the day too.
Oh, yeah. And Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah,
Love that one.
that was a fun game. The 90s brought us unforgettable music, movies, TV, and technology that persist with us today.
I agree. And if you guys liked anything about the 90s, please comment below and let us know for the sake of research and expanding people's minds.
Like and subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at RKULTRAcast.
Or find us at www.rkultra.com.
Follow us because we'll be following you.